we are seeing the rise in the quiet proposal, and I know in particular that Holly likes to stay abreast of proposal trends as she waits for Brent to pop the question.
So quiet. Brent's proposing so quietly she can't even hear him.
She's not heard it. After this many years,
Yeah, it's like
he's
a
really
mute
whispering.
proposal.
So I like to keep Holly in the loop so that she knows what to expect.
Yeah.
In an article by The Guardian, quiet proposals are said to be championed by Gen Zs, so those under 28, and it's about a rejection of the surprise, the splashiness, and the public element. Now, this has come from a survey by Diamond Factory Jewelers, they're called, and they found that more than half of shoppers for engagement rings are accompanied by their partner, right? Engagements are also being kept more quiet and private. We know Gen Zs don't love taking risks. There's been a lot written about that. And mix that in with a cost of living crisis, because who has hidden money to fork out on a ring without their partner knowing? And you've got yourself a very different kind of proposal. Holly, now I know that you were probably hoping for a grand gesture and a revolting ring that Brent thinks is just lovely. So is this stressing you out a little bit?
Oh, it's really stressing me out.
Yeah.
I'm delighted. Go Gen Z, because I know it's one of my most unpopular opinions is that I find engagements and weddings really weird. And I love going to them. I love supporting my friends in their love.
You love a wedding, but you just don't want to get married.
But the artificial nonsense that goes along with it, like that whole, oh my God, he popped the question, how amazing, oh my God, when you know that she's been saying every month for years, if you don't pop the fucking question, I'm leaving.
Excuse me, I reject that.
That's not always that's not always true, but it often is that we have to still make all the oh my God stuff when we all know it was coming. Like, I find that really strange. It really confuses me. I don't understand it. It seems to me that marrying someone is a big decision, and so ideally it should be a mutual one.
Well, that's not very
No,
much
it should
of a
be
surprise.
between a man and the father of his betrothed, of his intended betrothed.
And I've always really rankled with the idea that women have to wait to be chosen. So I love everything about this. I love the lack of pretense of all that, oh, he just happened to choose the perfect ring, when really you'd been sending him pictures of rings every 5 minutes. Or that whole, he said he chose me, when it's didn't you choose him? It's always confused me.
Do you know what it makes me think of is the way that now we all text someone to say, can I call you? We don't just call them.
Yeah.
And so it's you're right when you said no one wants to take risks. No one likes things happening that are out of their control.
Yeah.
So the idea of it being a joint decision, I was listening to another podcaster I like, John Lovett, who was talking about his engagement, and it was his second engagement. The first one was a surprise, but that didn't work out. But the second one, he and his partner had talked about it. They'd planned it. They knew what day they were going to do it. They went out to dinner. They'd decided that they were going to do it when the dessert was put on the table, but before they ate the dessert.
What? I don't understand.
It was planned within an inch of its life.
But why did they need to do it at all? As in, if they'd planned and we're getting married, why did they need this particular moment with the dessert? For the cam? For the gram?
No, they didn't put it on the gram. I think it's like a
rite of passage?
A rite of passage, but also like a bookmark. It's an actual, instead of just bleeding into, should we get married? Yeah, we probably should.
See, my parents always say they were at their joint 30th.
It's like a marker.
They were at their joint 30th birthday party sitting at, my father's parents' house, and they were like, guess we should get married. And then they got married, and I've always found that so depressing.
My
not a
parents
good
have the same
story.
story. My parents have the same story. And they were really young. My parents got married really young, and they were just like, let's get married, and they got married. There was not, but I don't. Explain to me the point of a proposal. Explain it to me
drama,
I live on another planet.
Interesting, story. There aren't many.
People do love the story. I must say
but
that when
it's a
people
fake
say
story.
But for a lot of
Jessie's
people
story
it's
wasn't
not.
fake.
So I think if someone comes in to work and they go, I'm engaged, probably the first question I'd ask is, tell me how it happened.
Yeah. How did he propose?
Yeah, I think which I see what you're saying, and a lot of Gen Zs have said that it's a far more equal power dynamic to go, we're going to decide. I love it when women propose to men. Obviously, there are same-sex couples where it's someone proposes to someone, and I think that that's all really exciting. But the idea that all women are kind of sending their ring ideas. I do know women who are doing that.
I know that not all are.
Yes.
But I have some in my life who have done that for a long time or have said things like, I'm giving you a year deadline.
Yes, I know that
and
too.
yet we still have to all act really surprised when it happens. It's just fakery that I don't get.
I was genuinely very surprised. And as someone who, I think Luca just looked at me and went, look, she doesn't have any taste, so I probably won't confer with her over the ring.
He knew that you're not a ring person.
So I like looking down and going, Luca thought that this ring was me. Like, and I've always loved that about it, but I found this interesting.
He planned it with me. I designed it. No, I didn't. I didn't know anything about it.
Well, I was going to say,
I knew nothing about
the data says that 18% of people who are buying a ring, if you're not bringing in your partner, you're bringing in like your mum or your dad. I would say mum. So the thought, I love that Luca had the foresight to go, I'm not conferring with Jessie and I'm definitely not conferring with Mia.
No.
Can you imagine what you would have chosen?
Lovely.
I did go with him to get your wedding ring. To get your wedding rings.
Band.
Wedding bands, yeah.
No.
But I wasn't involved. I just chose one for myself.
Yeah, you
I
bought
bought
yourself
myself a
ring.
new
It's just
wedding
another
ring.
shopping
It
opportunity.
was. I went and bought myself a different wedding ring because I get bored of mine. I just change it.
I have a quiet judgment, a confession.
Yeah.
I have a quiet judgment for people who redesign their rings. I'm sorry to all the outlouders who did it, but Megan, my friend, who I don't like to criticise, she's
You
my
hate
buddy.
criticising
Did she do
Megan.
that?
3 times she's redesigned the
What?
ring that Harry gave her. They've been married for 6 years, 7 years maybe. That's a lot of times. And why do I have a quiet judgment about that? What's my problem?
Just to be clear, when I said I buy new wedding rings all the time, I just it might be from Sports Girl. Like, I'm not a ring person either, so I've never had a big fancy ring. I just it's whatever ring I wear on that wedding finger is my wedding ring, really.
I feel like if I went and got my ring redesigned, I feel as though that would be probably an act of
Bit of a
micro
fuck you.
pettiness.
Micro-pettiness.
To
It's
Luca.
quite macro pettiness.
But you know what? I respect it as someone. There are people who know jewelry.
Yeah.
And they understand jewelry. And for
Megs
them,
is
I'm
probably
like,
that.
But what are you going to do
You
if you
get-
get an ugly ring? You're going to wear it forever? Have to look at it every day?
Yeah. So I have a friend who recently was talking to his friends going, I'm going to propose, here's the ring. And he showed them and they all went, that's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. It was the size of, a small iPad. It was
dear.
like this massive thing and it's like, that's going to get caught on things.
caught on things.
She's gonna hate it. It was the wrong color, and
How do
they
you
had
put a tampon in?
they had exactly
Probably
they
with
had
a different finger.
intervene. Yeah, I don't
Put your
put it in.
tampons in
Sorry.
with your ring finger.
And also, is it
That's
going
not
all
a
the
good
way
finger.
up?
You're right. It's
How
been a while.
deep's your vagina that
Yeah.
it goes all the way up? You lose your ring in there.
Well, we might, yeah. True. We might
She's flexing.
scratch. I don't know. It's been a while since I put a tampon in and I've forgotten how they work.